Okay, I'm going to show you here how to make, from this development that you have, this paper development, to cut out and fold up this development on net into a 3D object. So we're going to use this development net, cut it out, glue it to make this ice cube. So I've started to cut this one out. Obviously we take a pair of scissors and we're just going to go around, and this is not a difficult task, but it requires a certain amount of care and patience. If you cut off the wrong bit, you're not going to be able to make it. It's fairly challenging, but you might want to, some people find it easier to sort of roughly trim round first and then trim to the shape. Be careful not to cut off any of the tabs, because they're going to, if you cut those off, you're not going to be able to complete it. And so this is fairly challenging to cut out. It is possible to use the laser cutter, will quite quickly cut these out, but as a practical task it's quite good practice, because if you were using this for GCSE you would possibly do both. Okay, so now I've cut out my net, I've got the glue tabs here, I've got a glue stick, I have a ruler and obviously a pair of scissors. Now the next thing we're going to do is use the ruler, and we need to make sure that these folds are accurate. So we're putting our ruler on our line, and it doesn't matter if we fold it the wrong way, we can fold it either way, but just rubbing along there to get accurate folds. So if we go round all our cube shape and bend these folds up, as I say, if we bend them the wrong way, once we've bent them and we've accurately, if you can see there that my fold is accurately onto that line, you can, if you're very careful, do it without the ruler, but it is, you want to try and as much as possible get a very accurate fold on all these fold lines. So all the tabs need to be folded, all the faces of the cube need to be folded, and each of the faces obviously has Mr. Cube's face on it. Then what we're going to do, once we've got all this folding done, is we're going to start gluing. So we glue, the best way for gluing is to use a piece of scrap paper and put that down and just take our glue stick and glue onto the tabs. This piece of scrap paper just stops glue going onto the desk. And you can glue both sides of the tab. That actually does get a better joint for the glue stick. It is a bit fiddly with the glue stick. And also what I've done in the past is just let the glue dry a little bit, because what you want is what they call tack. You want it to actually grip, get into the right place, and it helps to just pinch it. And we can see that what we can do is fold up the faces of the cube to start building up our cube. Once we've done that, it's just a case of going around and fitting all the faces together. It's a tricky task, but you can obviously build it up until you have a cube with just a lid, and then the last stage, putting the lid on, that is really tricky. And here's one here, and you can see putting some glue in there and maybe putting a pencil or a pair of scissors into here to just hold it as you glue it all together, or pinch it up like that and kind of get it as square as possible, and there is completed your ice cube from a net.